taking your seats, saying hello and greeting the body. Finding the breath where it's clearest. Seeing if it's possible to drop down below thought into open presence and being. And discovering what it means to be fully present right now. Coming to presence with the body and with the space you're in. And coming to presence with whatever is present in the heart as well in this moment. And forming the attention to be a loving community that embraces everyone in its presence, whatever their opinions and beliefs and feelings. And creating a space that's large enough to hold all the emotions and thoughts present in this group today. And honoring everyone's unique experience just as it is. And then bringing this meditation to an end. And I was just beginning to give some of my own off-the-cuff impressions, thoughts that came up after the election, and I was going to share them. And it doesn't mean you have to agree with my opinions or my thoughts, but I just want to share them as a way of opening up this discussion and then get to hear what's on all of your minds. But I think the 2 points I'd already made when I started was that as bad as things are, the world has not ended today, that the sun has arisen this morning, that it's still fall outside, that we are all here breathing and still alive. That whatever may come tomorrow, this moment, right now, just as it is, can be tolerable. Our thoughts, of course, can make it intolerable, but this moment right now is a survivable moment. And the second point I was making is that if you look at the long arc of history, that there's nothing unique about this time. And I kind of went through the litany of all the bad rulers that existed over 2 millennia in China, or in Tsarist Russia, or through the Roman Empire and so forth. If you read history, you have someone who's decent like Augustus, but he's followed by Caligula and Nero. I mean, this is actually normal history to have terrible things happen. And that we find a way, that's part of our practice, is to find a way of living in terrible times and doing what has integrity, doing what has meaning for us in these times, whatever that might be. So for example, when I study Zen history, and we look at what happened in, say, 800 AD in China, there were periods of time when Zen and Buddhism went under terrible persecution, where pagodas and temples were closed, where Zen teachers and Buddhist teachers in general were defrocked, Clergy were turned into laypersons. It was against the law. The Chinese viewed Buddhism as a foreign religion at that point, unlike Taoism and Confucianism. And you had a bad emperor who did all that. And then 20 years later, there was a good emperor who said, okay, we're allowing Buddhism again. That was just, people were exiled and then they came back again. That was just what happened to our ancestors. And we're living in times just like they are. Difficult times, but we all have to kind of figure out what we need to do to maintain our integrity and make sure that our life has meaning and purpose. And I think the phrase that comes back to me again and again and again is one that Shenryu Suzuki Roshi used when he said that the practice of Zen is doing our best on the moment, moment after moment. That at each moment we look at what this moment calls for, and we try our best to imagine what does it mean to do our best in this moment, and then we try to hold to that, because the only safety there is in the world, the only refuge there really is in the world, is our own integrity. Okay, the world has never been a safe place. It's always been earthquakes and fires and tornadoes and revolutions and periods of repression. I mean, that's history. But we all find a way somehow to kind of say, what is the appropriate response that we can make to this? And as long as we're doing that, our lives can be purposeful, meaningful, and full. I even had this fantasy at some point. Let's suppose I'm not going to speak for you, but let's suppose I end up in something like a concentration camp at some point. It's possible that could happen. And then I realized, well, what do you do when you're there? You all band together, right, as best you can. Maybe you conduct a hunger strike, but you find a way to live meaningfully even under those conditions. So I just want to kind of set that up as some kind of thing to think about.